welcome to the Open Mic Diary. My name is Indra Adele, and you have just stepped into a safe space. Just like in a diary entry, in this space, I am free to be my most authentic self, be vulnerable and honest about my feelings and emotions, and give you a front row seat to my various life experiences, my challenges, my victories, ups, downs, laughter, tears, and everything in between. I'm turning my healing journey into our healing journey. And honestly, this is not your traditional podcast. This space is free flowing, hence the name Open Mic Diary. So expect anything. If you have not already, please go listen to the Allow Me to Introduce Myself episode so you have more context to me and the style of this podcast. Episodes, for the most part, will be uploaded in batches, but outside of that, I may decide to spontaneously upload episodes individually. So please make sure that you follow, subscribe, and have your notifications on so that you will always know when I post a new episode. I pray that my authenticity and my vulnerability in this episode blesses you in some way. Okay. Man, it's been a little bit. It's been a little bit. Yeah, I've been busy. I've had a lot going on the last few weeks. A lot of mostly good things. For one, my oldest turned 6 last week. So I've been celebrating for the last week with family and friends. Prior to that, I was focused on some new projects for business, and that's really exciting. Also a little scary. It's always a little nerve-wracking taking risk in business, but I'm feeling really good about the direction I'm going in, and that has been taking up a lot of my time, my attention. And then also just like I've been really, really, really focused on rest and really trying to be mindful and aware of like how I'm really doing. My last episode was, it's a little heavy. And if you tuned in, you know that, I was still processing a lot. There was still a lot there for me that I was kind of dealing with. And so that alone was, I needed space for that, like just taking time to really unpack just all of that, and the experience that I had and like what that really meant for me, how I was really feeling, how I was really doing, and just getting to a place of like resolve in terms of really having a sober perspective about like what happened, as well as just not having false thoughts and accusations towards myself, just those feelings of like blame and guilt and all of that, right? Like getting to a place where I could really release that and really hear what God was saying to me about how he wanted me to take just some of the emotions and feelings that came up for me in that experience and really like weave that into the new direction I'm going in, even with my business. I think that God is very intentional, and although I don't believe that God would purposefully allow something hurtful to happen, I think that he can use it for good. Like God can always take a terrible thing, a hurtful thing, a traumatic thing, and find a way to make it benefit you on the other side. Find a way um, to make it work out for your good on the other side of it, right? And so I feel like no hurt or pain is wasted. And sometimes in the moment, it's like, why did this have to happen? Why do I have to experience this, right? Like, kind of that why me thing. And I feel like that's normal to feel that, right? Like, I think that if we had a choice as humans, we'd opt to always feel good and only have good, positive experiences, right? Just always be happy and joyful all the time. That would be amazing. But that is not life, you know? And I'm just grateful that, like, God has found a way to pull purpose out of my pain to where I can help other people. And just be an encouragement and a guide, and be useful for others who have had similar situations, similar experiences, and maybe weren't able to see their way out of it, or maybe still in the process of actively trying to see their way out of it. You know, God has just been really giving me a lot of like insight into how he wants to use my past experiences to serve other people, and to help others. And it's something I've always really been passionate about, you know, but I think that I was so, one, just focused on everything else that I have going on. And then just, you know, when you go through painful things, it can really just distract you from things that have been on your heart. It's not that it never left me, but it kind of got pushed to the back and became background noise and wasn't something that was like at the forefront. And I think that God allowed this recent experience to really bring some of that back to the forefront, you know, and that's been good. So I've had a lot of introspective time, a lot of alone time, a lot of thinking. I've resumed like my reflective walks and my prayer walks in the mornings. I was still spending time outside, but I wasn't necessarily having time outside specifically for that. And having prayer walks and reflective times outside in nature has been something that I've loved doing for years. And I feel like in the last year or so, like I kind of fell off with that. I might still have that time, but it wouldn't look that way. But for me, there's just something about walking and talking out loud with myself or with God. Like, it's so grounding for me, and it really helps me connect with myself. And yeah, it's just so helpful for me, man. And I was just reminded like how much I need that. Even if I miss a day or so, like just making it a staple. And so it has been a part of my morning routine almost every day now, even if it's for 5 minutes. I have that time, and it is so vital for me now. Like, it sets such a tone for my day. It allows me to kind of just like sort through all of the noise or the thoughts that might be going on in my head, because the way that my brain works, like there's just so much going on all of the time. And I'm somebody who is always like, I always have ideas about something. I always have thoughts about something. And sometimes it can just be like like the downloads can be overwhelming, especially if I'm excited about something or something's really on my mind. I'll just start getting just a flood of like different thoughts and things. Like, it can just be a lot, right? And so that's why writing is so amazing for me, because it helps me to just like get that all in one spot, to be able to look at it somewhere. Or if I can go on a walk and kind of talk through some of that stuff, it kind of helps me organize my thoughts. It helps in those times. Sometimes I'm able to remind myself of truth. It also helps me to slow down. Like, I think that's another thing I really love about those times, those walks outside, is like, it really helps me to slow down, because I'm just walking. And most of the time, I like to, I'm not on my phone, right? Like I'm not there like on my phone during these times. These are times where I am just with myself and with nature. I love to go early in the morning, or if I can around sunrise, if it's a time where the boys spent the night with their dad. And then if the boys are up around sunrise, we'll go out for a nice walk. Otherwise, we'll still go out. It'll just be a little bit later in the morning. And I love those walks even with them, right? Like, even with my kids. So like there are times where I go by myself, and then there are times where I include them, right? And I'll let them know like, hey, this is not like our typical outside time. This is like quiet time. This is reflective time. Like mama's trying to talk with God, trying to talk with myself. Like you can do the same thing too, right? Like you can reflect and think about different things or whatever, right? Like, and I might put them in the stroller or, do whatever, or Kai might be on his bike or his scooter, and I'll put Taji in the stroller and I'll go walk and have that time still, right? So it's like my kids don't get in the way of making that possible, right? Like my kids are a regular part of my life, and prioritizing and making sure that like they don't become an excuse for me prioritizing me, and for me doing the things that keep me grounded and keep me rooted in what I need to be rooted in. Because it's so easy. It's so easy for me right now to really just like lose sight of my purpose and who I am. And so it's important for me to incorporate these things with my children. And it sets an example for them too, right? When they see that routine, they see that consistency. My mornings look almost identical mostly every day. There are a couple days out of the week that are exceptions, and I still usually will do some of these things. It's just like maybe in a different order. But that rhythm for me, man, like is gold. So that's one of the things in my morning routine. I do 5 minutes like in the word. I do 5 minutes. 5 is like my number, right? Because as a mama, like I don't have time to be like, oh, I'm gonna work out for an hour. I'm gonna go, for a reflective walk for an hour. I'm gonna read for an hour. Like, no. Okay. That's just not, that doesn't work for me right now. Maybe there's some mamas out there where that works. That don't work for me. So for me, it's like, okay, well, how can I still be effective in less time? So I just came up with this thing. It's like my 5-minute rule. I'll read, the word for 5 minutes. I'll read a book for 2 minutes. Like I'll just read a page. You feel me? Like it takes me, I love to read, but I started to get frustrated because I wasn't finishing books anymore, because I would just be so busy and I feel like I wouldn't have time to and so I'm like, you know what? Reading books may not look the same anymore. I may not be able to knock out like several books in a month. Maybe I'm reading one book for 2 months. That's okay. You feel me? Like that's cool too. And just being okay with the slower pace of things. And so, right now I'm reading a book where like there are days where I'll read a couple sentences, and it's one of those books that's just full of nuggets, like full of wisdom. Like every other sentence is like, oh my gosh, like I need that. And it forces me to internalize and absorb it even more, because I'm not I'm not moving at a fast pace. So I'll read like half a page, a few sentences, and then I'm sitting in that. I'm letting it marinate, and then that's all I might read in that book for that day. Right? But it's still so helpful for me. I do anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes of some type of like self-improvement, self-help, something, right? For 5 to 30 minutes a day. So sometimes it's via YouTube, sometimes it's like a podcast, but something where like it's helping my mindset. Like I have to do that every day. If I miss a day or so, like, okay, but like that has been so helpful for me, especially just in this up and down season of like my mental health. Like Listening to something that helps my mindset is crucial because I have my affirmations, I have my stuff I do, but somebody else speaking into my mind is also carries a different weight, a different level of power, and that's been really helpful for me. My workouts are anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes. Okay, like I typically work out like about 5 days a week. 5 to 15 minutes. Usually never longer than 15 minutes. Like I can't tell you the last time I worked out for longer than 15 minutes. So, like, and it's great. You feel me? Like I get to work and it's a great workout, and then I have my protein shake afterwards. Like it's awesome. Um, yeah, so those are like some of the things that I've been just, I was doing them before, but not necessarily with the same level of intensity. I shouldn't say intensity, the same level of consistency and intentionality. Like maybe I was only doing it a couple times a week or skipping days in between or whatever, right? Versus now it's like, this is what I do every day. With the exception of like 1 or 2 days, it's cool. Um, but I try to do it as much as possible. And if there's a day where I'm just really like off, I give myself permission to have an off day. Like the old version of me would be like, get so frustrated that it wasn't perfect. And then it's like, then I just have like an off week the following week. Right? Um, because of all of the judgment, and then I'm self-sabotaging and all this stuff, right? Now I'm just like, you know what? Today was not on point, and that's okay. We will pick it back up tomorrow. Or maybe I will pivot later in the day or whatever it is, right? It's like, it's cool. Um, so yeah. Um, Making sure I'm still prioritizing creativity, like I'm still writing. I haven't performed poetry in about a month, like performing live, that is. Um, I have, shared some stuff via the podcast. And so I plan to resume going back to open mics. I actually have I don't know if I shared this yet, but I competed in a poetry slam like a month or two ago, and I won third place. And so the finals are in August, and I need to prepare for that. So yeah, I'm gonna be practicing for that. I'm trying to like start memorizing my poetry, which is really cool. Because what I've been doing is I'll like have a good idea of like what I wrote, but I wrote so much, right? Like I have so many different poems, I don't necessarily have them all memorized. And so I usually have my phone there as a prop, and getting good at kind of glancing while performing. And so now I'm trying to transition to where like I start just memorizing everything. And that way I can just pour all of my energy into the performance and not have to be looking at my writing. So that's something that I'm working on, which, to me is exciting, and fun. Yeah. So, outside of that, I've been working on this retreat, this mama retreat that I'm planning, and that's been a lot of fun. And I've been getting a lot of questions lately from people in my life, people DMing me on social media, mainly IG, about like my nutrition, why I'm plant-based, like all that type of stuff. And I'll share like I won't go into the entire story or all of it. This time around, I'll maybe do a follow-up, but I'm going to share a little bit about like just why that became important to me. So back in, I went fully plant-based, and back in, was it 2016? Yeah. September of 2016 is when I went fully plant-based. I do eat fish. I do eat certain fish, not all fish, but I do eat certain fish. Has to be of a certain quality and a certain kind, but most of the time, I do make some exceptions. But yeah, so fish is a part of my diet as well. But yeah, so no meat, no dairy. I don't do like the artificial sweeteners and all of the stuff. Even at home when I bake stuff and make things, I'm using like natural sweeteners. I don't do the overly processed stuff, the white flours and breads and yeah, all that stuff, right? Now, on occasion, if it's like a treat or something and it is vegan, yeah, my kids sometimes will eat like vegan sweets and junk food, right? From time to time. Um, but so back in 2016, that transition was so over the course of a few years, I slowly started cutting things out before I fully was plant-based. When I turned 18, that was the first like major, I think, milestone for me. I cut out pork and beef. Around that age is when I became really curious about like my body and just how it worked and just what was going on with it, right? Like what was good for it, what wasn't, what made me feel like I had energy, what slowed me down. I think I started just noticing like, man, I have these like skin issues. Like I had eczema. I had this like rosacea thing going on my cheeks. I would get bloated, like really bloated after I ate certain things. I just thought that was normal. You feel me? I would feel really sleepy after eating certain things. Again, thought that was normal. And eventually it got to the point where I started to develop allergies, like to different foods. And I started to have a really hard time eating out because like I had to talk to the chef to like go down the list of every ingredient that was in there to make sure there wasn't anything I was allergic to. And it started out with like one or two things. And then over the course of like 6 months, I had like a list of things that I had become allergic to. And it was very frustrating. While this was happening, I had extreme like bloating, tiredness, fatigue. Like I had like this adrenal fatigue thing going on, digestive issues. Like my body was kind of like shutting down. My digestive system was just struggling. Like my body was, a lot was happening with my body, and it made me, and this started happening in my like early 20s, right? So at this point I had already started making some changes, but there's still a lot of stuff I was still eating. And when I went to college, when I went to college in Philly, around that time was really good. I started noticing like my skin clearing up and all types of stuff in terms of my energy, how I felt was really good. And the only downside was my grocery bill was a lot higher than my friends because I was shopping at like the organic markets and stuff, and they're shopping at like, you know, CVS and the dollar store and, wherever, right? Like they're getting their food from wherever, and I'm buying like stuff that's so expensive, right? So it was really hard. It was very costly in college to be trying to buy like healthy food. But when I moved back here from Philly, I started eating a lot of other things again. And that's when the allergies and all that stuff started up. I still wasn't eating red meat, but I was still doing the dairy. I was still doing a bunch of other stuff. So I started to kind of experiment with myself, if that's the right term to use. So I would do these like tests where I'm like, okay, I'm going to not eat anything with gluten for a week and see what happens. Then I'll reintroduce it. Okay, I'm going to not eat anything with dairy for a week, see what happens. Not eat anything with sugar, not eat this or that for a week, see what happens, reintroduce it. So I started doing these different things, right? And observing what happened with my body when I took things out, put them back in. Then I started doing research on detoxing and all of that. And so long story short, over the course of a few years, I started to really learn my body. I started to cleanse and detox my body. I realized that my body needed a reset, that it was starting to shut down just from the overload of all of the things that I was putting into it over the years. And my body just kind of was like, hey, we've had enough. And it started to malfunction. God gave me a vision during that time and basically told me that, hey, you don't have any allergies. Okay. There's nothing wrong with you. I need you to believe and act as though you don't have any allergies. Because if you keep telling yourself and telling people that you have allergies, you will continue to have these symptoms. And in order for you to heal, I need you to already act as though you're healed. And I was like, okay. Because at this time, everyone around me and in my life had already known that I had these allergies and stuff, right? Like, so for me, I'm like, okay, I'm about to look hella stupid, right? Like, people about to be looking at me like, ain't you allergic to that? Why are you eating that? You know? Because they know. And so I'm just like, okay, what am I supposed to tell people? And, it's like, tell them that you don't have allergies, right? And so I was looking like a fool for a little bit. Like, it was, people were looking at me sideways, or just kind of like, yeah, okay, you're tripping type of thing. And then after a few months went by, those same people started asking me for health advice because they saw the transformation. They saw my body heal. They saw I was able to eat some of these same things that I was supposedly allergic to and be perfectly fine. And then there were some other things that I just needed to cut out anyway, right? That were just not healthy. And it was huge for me. Like, my energy levels transformed. I wasn't having the fatigue that I was having before. My digestion was awesome. Like, all of the things just like went away. Right. And so it changed my life. And so for me, it was just kind of like the level of energy I have, how I feel, the way my body functions, right? The fact that I was able to heal all of these issues by changing my nutrition and also tending to like my emotional and mental health, right? Because I was also like, I had went back into trauma therapy and all of that back at that time too. It changed my life. And so I became so passionate about health and nutrition and wellness and detoxing, like all of the stuff, right? I just would talk about it all the time because I just became so passionate about it. This was before I became like a health coach and all of that, right? Like, I was doing something completely different. Like, I was pursuing like my art and design stuff. I was in the financial industry. I was doing other stuff, right? I had like other businesses, right? And so people around me started like coming to me for advice, and I kind of became a go-to for my friends and family. And at some point I was just like, man, like, I'm already helping people for free. You feel me? Like, I feel like I would be okay, like, just doing this, right? Like, I'm so passionate about it. And I felt like God was pushing me in that direction to just kind of pivot. And so I pretty much like dropped everything else I was doing and made a hard pivot into the wellness industry. Started my business. I started taking clients like pretty much immediately once I formed my LLC. This was back in 2017. And while I was already starting to see paid clients, I went and started getting certifications, holistic health and nutrition certifications. I got my personal trainer certification. I got my life coach certificate. I was getting all these different certifications. And this was before like wellness started to become something that people were taking seriously again. Like, now veganism is like a trend and all these things. Like, this was not the case back in 2017, right? Like, so I was very much kind of like, I would say like not a part of like this popular movement. Okay. And yeah, it was awesome. haven't looked back since. That's what I've been doing ever since then. I'm sure I might have done other like side things. Oh, and as a result of this transition, I changed everything, right? Like I changed the products I was using. I started using natural stuff, started really getting into like ingredients and what are in things and how these things are affecting my skin, right? I started stopping using things with fragrance because I realized that was part of what was contributing to my eczema and skin issues and stuff, right? Like, so, and I had a hard time finding certain things that were as pure as I wanted them to be. So then I just started making my own. And that's how True Remedy got started. That's how my product business got started, is because I was just started making my own stuff for myself. And then people started asking me for it. And so then I just started making it and charging them. And then I just was like, hey, okay, well, let me just make this available for everybody. So a lot of what I do is a result of like, you know, going through some type of personal journey or experience and then monetizing it later, right? Finding a way to help people, you know, and so like, that's just how things have been for me, right? Even now, the things I'm working on and focused on, even like what I'm working on for mothers, it's a result of my own personal experience and then wanting to like take that and help other people, right? So that's kind of the short version of like why I went plant-based and all of that. I think I'll probably do a few different episodes, like kind of breaking it up, you know, maybe talking about just the product stuff and all of that. And because that's a whole topic on its own, right? Like, and so, yeah, I've been doing this for over 10 years. Been plant-based for about 10 years now, and have been coaching for almost just as long. And I love it. I'm still just as passionate about it then, right? So this wasn't like a thing for me where it's like, oh, I went plant-based for like a year and then I went back. Like, this has been my life. Like, I have literally not had meat, dairy, like any of the things since before 2017. So it has continued to bless me, and I have zero desire to go back. I shouldn't say zero. There were times when I was pregnant that I was like, man, that chicken smelled good. That jerk chicken smelled good, right? And honestly, I can appreciate food smelling good and not want to eat it. Like, that's the thing. I think some people who like become vegan or plant-based, they be lying, right? Like, oh, you know, that don't look good or that don't smell good. You know that thing smell good. Stop lying. Some of it don't smell good. I'm not gonna lie. Some of it, I'm like, eh. Like, for me, sometimes eggs, depending on how they're cooked, that thing smells terrible. Oh my gosh. And then it just stays in the air, right? But yeah, like, I can acknowledge that something smells good, but that doesn't equate to me desiring to eat it. Like, I might smell something really good and then I think about eating it and I'm like, nah, I'm good on that. But it smelled good though. Let me go over here and make my jerk salmon or my jerk mushrooms. You feel me? Like, yeah. So, you know, I've had 2 healthy pregnancies. I delivered both of my babies naturally. My second baby I delivered at home. Man, I gotta do an episode on that. My birth stories. Jesus. So yeah, like it's been great. You feel me? Like, I'm not lacking in minerals or nutrients. You know what I mean? Like, which I think is important, because there are people that are into the trendy side of like being plant-based or vegan, and they're eating trash. It's like processed fake, like food that's not real. Like, I'm talking about like plant-based, like whole food. And that's why I don't like to use the word vegan, because one, I'm not vegan because I do eat fish. So I eat vegan food, but I am not solely vegan. I don't fully fit that category. So that's why I tend to say plant-based, because I do eat fish. But like, you know, there are vegans out there that are unhealthy because they're eating like the Beyond Burgers every day. I'm not saying eating that stuff now and then is like a problem, but if that's like your day to day, like food, like you're definitely going to be nutrient and mineral deficient. You feel me? Because that's not real food. It's like you're like eating plastic, you know? And so it's like, yeah, do I indulge sometimes and have treats and, you know, cheat meals or whatever, right? Yes. Like I'm human. I'm not, my diet isn't like super top tier on point all the time. I have my moments where I have sweets and stuff like that. Now, yeah, it still is vegan or plant-based, right? Like I still needs to be dairy free, you know, fit my overall like um preference. But yeah, man, I have my moments. Um Especially when it's that time of the month, I be wanting something sweet. Okay, I want some cake, some donuts. I have my go-to spots where when I want something, like I go and I get it, and it's cool. You feel me? But that's not. I'm not feasting on that day after day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You feel me? Um. So, anyways, that's the summary of that whole thing for me, and it's something that I'm still very much passionate about. And if anybody listening has questions or wants help kickstarting their journey or just trying to make a change, or whether it's you want to become plant-based, or you know you have low iron, or you're trying to get in more vitamin C, or you're getting sick all the time. That's the other thing. I don't be getting sick. You feel me? Probably in the last 10 years, I've probably been sick like 2 or 3 times. Um, and it didn't last long because then I knocked it out with my remedies, you know? So just having a strong immune system, like, man, I remember prior to that, like I would get colds so often, like the flu, it was just the worst, right? Like I just remember like just the times when I would be getting sick, and it sucks. I don't miss that at all. I really, really don't. I really don't miss that at all. But yeah, hit me up if you want help, and those that have hit me up, I honestly feel grateful that people trust me. You know, they trust my journey and they feel inspired or encouraged in some way. And when people reach out, I'm honored, and I truly enjoy helping people be better. I enjoy helping people get healthier, because on the other side of that, I know that you're going to feel great and you're going to be happier and have a better quality of life. And that excites me. Like that vision for you, like excites me. Like, so when someone desires something and they just need some guidance to get to that point where they can have what they want, have that better quality of life, right? Like, be healthier, feel better, whatever it is, like, you know, I'm grateful to be a part of that, you know? So all in all, I am doing well. I'm feeling good. And I'm grateful. The days that I feel good, I really, really try to be intentional about being present in that gratitude, present in that joy and in that happiness, because I know, like, I don't take that for granted now. I know that 2 days from now, I could be not doing great, you know? And so, like, I just try to take it all in when I'm doing well. And I feel like by doing that, it increases the chances of me continuing to do well going into the next day. Yeah, that's all for now.